Hello, lovelies. It's time to get busy with Motivational Monday. Who's with me? Get a little air in here. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's going to go up to about 75 degrees today. I'm pretty darned excited. So who's here? I'm looking for you. I am looking for you. Hello. Here come my girls. Yay! There she is. Yvonne is ready to sprint in Whittier, California. My hometown, by the way. My hometown. Come on in. We're going to be talking about something that I think is an important distinction, and I think something that's going to help us as we're working on our stuff, especially if we have a tendency to be paralyzed by perfectionism. Hands in the air. Admit it. We're going to just make that shift on going from being perfect to becoming somebody that understands the difference between perfectionism and excellence. Don't you think that's a really good idea? Hi, Trisha. I'm seeing a whole lot of people come on in. And I'm flapping my gums, so I haven't had a chance to say hello. Thanks for showing up today. This is what we do here. At 1 p.m. every single day, we get together and we talk about things how we think, what would make a difference, what we can do, how to be encouraged, how not to be discouraged, how to be supportive of each other, and to connect. Most importantly, to connect. Here's the thing that I know for sure, 1,000%, that we might be isolated, but we can still be connected. That we may be in a place where, we're unhappy with some portion or whatever part of our lives. But if we understand that we are all works in progress and that the good things happen to those who activate these different parts of their lives, and that it happens on your own timeline, not everybody else's, and that we all have the capability, the ability, the innate knowing, all the stuff inside us to be able to take this on, life changes dramatically. It does, very dramatically. And I will tell you, what has taught me this? It's taught me this because this is part of the thing that I've been living myself, and it's taught me this because I get to coach people one-on-one in some of my I've got 2 programs that I do this with. And these folks that I get to sit down with one-on-one have taught me also about what their journey is versus my journey versus all of it. And the thing that's so interesting is once we can just get down to the place of understanding and loving our journey just the way it is, however fast or slow it goes or whatever, as long as we're learning, as long as we're applying, and as long as we have the stuff inside, the guts, to take a look at what our lives really are, then we can keep going. We can keep going, we can keep applying, and we can do things on our own timeline. We can do things without feeling bad about it. And you know what? Here's the thing that's so amazing and awesome about it. It's honoring to yourself. This is how you become the very best version of yourself. And isn't it so cool that it's not dependent on me? It's not dependent on whatever forces are out there. It's not dependent on any of this stuff. It is dependent on you. And the sooner you recognize this, and the sooner that you see this, and the sooner you start to honor your own processes, like I always say that, respect the process. When we do that, our lives start to change. And that's why today's subject is so important. I got this message on my Saving Dinner Facebook message saying, can you explain the difference between excellence and perfectionism? And I thought, well, that's easy. I mean, whatever. And then I started to really think about it. And I started to think about my journey and your journey and everybody else's journey and how we get lost in the semantics of the whole thing. And some of it is just rhetoric and some of it is this, that, and the other thing. And you know what it is? It's an honoring of each person's journey. And I'm going to take this down a little bit and show you a little bit of the differences between this, because I think this stuff is so crucial and so important. And today is the first day of the sprint. Are you drinking your water? I did a little coaching thingy. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know where it is. It's on one of my many pads. But I did a little coaching thing on how to put your own water system together so that you're drinking water continually and consistently throughout the day without feeling like you constantly have to pee your pants. Anyone ever feel like that? Yeah, it's just uncomfortable. And that's, I think, a lot of the reasons why folks will say, I'm not doing that. So here's what I did. There it is. You can see, if you weigh 150 pounds, you divide that by 2, that's 75 ounces. And here's how you do it throughout the day. On that side there, you have all the, right over here, you have at every hour you make you drink a little bit of water. When you do this, you correct your natural thirst. You know what? This is what the sprint is all about. It's about correction. It's correcting your hunger hormones. It's correcting your cravings. It's correcting the overeating. It's correcting your thirst mechanism. All of the things that we have that get broken. We break our stuff. We break it from poor choices. We break it from bad behaviors. We break it from bad habits that we've had forever and ever, from sitting on the couch too much, not moving it around. And when we understand and when we start to honor our bodies for the way they're built and what they need, all of these things start to self-correct. And that's why we do the sprint. It's on savingdinner.com/sprint if you're not a part of it. We just welcomed 35 new people today alone. And I'm going to write a little post in there. Every single day at 9 a.m.-ish, give me a little latitude, I'm going to be going in there to the sprint group itself. There's a special Facebook group. Don't worry, it's private. Nobody's going to see it, just your sprint sisters, and do a quick little video. And today, my whole thing was about hydration and how to break that up. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about the HIIT training and how to break that up. We've got the ability to do this, right? We're all home. Most of us are home. There's a few people who are out there who are essential services. There's nurses and people who work in different, grocery stores and pharmacies and what have you. So that helps. That really, really helps a lot. That helps you guys to figure out how to blast through your day and do this stuff, right? We have a new quote of the week. Do you love quotes as much as I do? And this one is, the struggle ends when the gratitude begins. This is Neil Donald Walsh, who did Conversations with God. He did a bunch of little books like that, and they were just really sweet and loving and just gives a real sense of how much God is so in tune and how much he loves us. So that makes makes such a big difference. And I think when we are in the place of gratitude, when we're expanding the borders of our hearts, I love that, expanding the borders of our hearts, we expand our understanding. We understand and we see and we connect and we know that God is with us. And when we give gratitude, it's basically an acknowledgement of him. So let's be those gracious people. Let's be those gracious people. Margot said that quote snapped me out of it on Saturday morning. Amen. You know what? I really believe that depression is because we live lives of ingratitude. I mean, there's a lot going on, but we don't stop to give thanks. You can't have those two things together. I read this quote on LinkedIn of all places. It was a Maya Angelou quote, and I should probably save it for next week, but hope and fear cannot occupy the same space. Invite one to stay. Can't you just wrap your arms around that one? Invite one to stay. I want to invite hope to stay. Hope needs to stay, not fear. Hope needs to stay. Hopefulness needs to stay. Love, gratitude, thankfulness. Just the fact that we can connect like this. What a miracle that we have this. Pandemic, whatever. Yeah, it's out there. And yes, the news is on 24/7. And yes, there's always something. But what you choose to dwell on is what you choose to steer your life ship with. That's your GPS. And that's what we're going to talk about today when we talk about this whole idea of excellence versus perfectionism. And one of the things that I really want to encourage you to do, if you haven't yet, is start thinking in terms of 90 days. 90 days from now, where do you want to be? 90 days from now, what do you want your life to look like? Now, I will say this, and I say it with a loose hand, okay? This is my caveat. Your life can look completely different 90 days from now, if you want it to. And don't, in the name of perfectionism, make it too rough on yourself, but in the name of excellence, don't also just sit on the couch and become a Netflix fixture, right? We can do what it is that we want to do. I saw somebody who had written a thing like, you should be writing a book, you should be doing this. If you don't have a side hustle, there's something wrong with you, this, that, and the other thing. And it was really a very condemning kind of a post, because we all travel on this journey in our own ways, with our own capabilities, with whatever we can handle right now at this moment. That's the reality of what's happening right now, right? But I will say to you until I'm purple in the face that what we think about expands. And we have free will, folks, free will at any time to shift what it is that we're focusing on. And I know that if we stay focused on the fear, if we stay focused on the what ifs, if we stay focused on all the stuff, that we're going to blow ourselves, we are going to go down that dark, into that dark place. And that's just, it's unnecessary, and it is not, you don't have to go there. You have a choice. We have a choice. And that should be just, let's just rejoice on that. So if we plan ourselves out, and for you who are in my Hot Milk Club and also in Take Back Your Life, go get some new pages for your Take Back Your Life journal. Write them all out and just take a look. What do I want my life to look like 90 days from today? 90 days from today, what's it going to look like? It's going to be what, June, July, whatever, April, May, June. Yep, it's going to be July. It's 4th of July coming up, right? All these different, what's it going to look like? What are you going to look like? What are you going to feel like? What's going to be different about you today? We should look at these things like we have this opportunity for growth. Now we have a tool, we call it the Take Back Your Life journal. And it basically, what it does is it puts the habits in place so that you have your routines, which become your rituals. And I give Marla all the credit because this is what just completely transformed my life. And we set those up. And sometimes they change a little bit. We learn how to piggyback some habits. We learn how to do different things so that it all makes sense and it flows. When we have a flowing life, instead of just like all these stops and starts, when things flow, it makes it so much easier. And yeah, we can put a little pressure on ourselves with some things, and some things we just need to back off of. But the point is that if we are connected to our reticular activating system, which is seeking out information to confirm what it is that we're thinking, and if we're connected to all of that, then we can start looking for the stuff that's going to support the kind of life that we want to live, even in those four walls that you live in. That should be massively encouraging to you. It is to me. It's massively encouraging to me. So keep that in mind, and you can get those pages at any time. It's $15 and you have a lifetime access to it, plus the training on how to use this. You go to savingdinner.com/journal. You'll see all about it. And I'm telling you, I love this journal. It is helpful. And it also helps you to keep appointments with yourself. That's where I've really fallen off, is keeping those appointments with myself to do the exercise that I need to do. And we all do, right? It helps. It helps. It makes such a big difference. And it keeps you centered, and it keeps you focused, and it helps you to become your very best version of yourself. The only pressure you should put on yourself is that you want to line your integrity up with the things that you say that you want to do. Do you find this to be true for you? Let me ask you this question. That when you say, I'm going to do this and that, and then you don't, you feel bad. Or how about when somebody says to you, hey, I'll be there at 10 a.m., and then they show up at 10:20, or they call and say, I'm not going to show up. How does that feel to you? And then that you have like this whole relationship with this person, that this is like totally the way things go with them. Well, when you do it to yourself, you're just going bam, bam, bam to your own personal integrity, and you're taking yourself down a few notches. So think about that, and think about how that should relate to what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And give yourself a whole lot of latitude and grace when it comes to all of that, especially right now. If we handle things with just a little bit of a loose hand and not hold things so darn tight, that's the difference between perfectionism and excellence. That's a big difference. We need that kind of latitude right now. We need to love ourselves a little bit extra, and we don't need to do it with just carbs, by the way. You know, those carbs, your body's going to have a rebellion. It's going to have a rebellion. How can you love yourself up without defaulting to the lowest common denominator thing that you used to do? Go running to food for comfort. You know, it's never loved you before. It's not going to love you now, right? It's just going to show up around your middle. Yeah, give yourself some grace on that. Still, yes, give yourself some grace on that. But also understand, where does the love come from? Where are you going to get that love? That love is going to be just all around you with your community. It's going to be around you with your relationships. It's going to be all around you. You're not going to get it from a bag of M&Ms. You're not going to get it from chips. You're not going to get it from some pasta. I was watching Oprah today making pasta, and I was thinking, girlfriend, you don't need to be doing that. And then I'm thinking to myself, girlfriend, you don't need to be doing that either. And in the name of cooking lessons, I've been doing a lot of that, and also using up what's in my pantry. But you know what? We're all in different places. And for me, that just turned out to make me feel awful all week. And so I told Mark, I said, you're on your own. Eat all of that. So, there's things you can do. I made beef stroganoff yesterday. What can I do with it? Put it on spinach, or just eat it plain in the bowl. You don't have to put it on pasta. How does it make you feel? It's sort of like this. Think about it this way with carbohydrates. And you out there who are my girls, who are just as hooked on food as I am, and have carb cravings and have addiction issues, all of that, you guys are going to love this. Falling back to food, falling into the food hole, if you will, of all of that old behavior. That is like having a friend who shows up and is only talking about themselves. You know that friend? Or that friend? It hurts your body. It hurts your psyche. It doesn't give you anything in return. And that is what a food addiction does. That is what carbs do. That is what sugar does. And it sucks the living daylights out of your health and out of your psyche as well. It makes you feel bad all the way around the block. And yet it's the default, right? It's where we go. Hey, we know about this. It's the yum factor. And the yum factor says, yay, fun, yay. This is it. Gimme. And then all of a sudden we feel like absolute crap, and we regret it. We hate it. It's the carousel of crazy. And the carousel of crazy has its own, this is the pandemic carousel of crazy. It's a whole different thing, because it's pushed a lot of us to our limits of like, how do we handle this? And we all are in community handling this in our own distinct different ways. We all are. And Terry just said it right here. My joints told me I returned to eating some carbs. Yep. See, we're all here. But guess what? We have an opportunity to hit the reset button at any time. At any time. I've got a button around here. Shoot. That was easy. That one? Hit the reset button. Go do the sprint. Get off of it. We can do it at any time. And when we do, we're hitting the excellence button. We're not going for perfectionism. We're going for excellence. And we're doing it to the best of our capabilities right now. We're going to do it. And I want you, pinkies up, ladies, pinkies up. This is the thing. I don't want one of you beating yourselves up if you don't do it perfectly. Promise me that. Pinky up. It's not going to be perfect this time around. It is going to look like the different sprint. I gave you a whole lot of latitude. I said, if you have comfort in that coffee with the cream and the sweetener in it or whatever, then you just do your coffee like that. This is not the time to beat yourself up. And, I'm not going to be hard about that and just say, no, it's got to be like that. We need some latitude. But we also need to know, back away from the carbohydrates. Can we agree that pasta it's like predatory and it's going to eat you alive. We do not need pasta. If we never had another thing of pasta, we would survive. We would survive just fine. But I want you to have the life that you want to live, and I want you to feel good about the life that you are leading right now, even right now in our little pandemic, right? And I say little. This is no little pandemic. This is kind of a big time thing. But every single time I say this, and I mean this with all of my heart, the shifting and the thinking and everything else is all about how you choose to run your life. And you are the captain of your own ship. You're the one that's guiding the sails. You are the one that can make this happen for yourself in your speed, the way it works for you, in your comfort level. We are not going to succumb to perfectionism and get paralyzed and not do things. We are going to look to excellence because excellence makes us feel good about the effort that we put forth. There's a big difference. Perfectionism says this: you can't do it. You can't do it the way your mom did it. You can't do it like that because it won't be perfect. It won't be completely finished. It won't be this. It won't be that. Perfectionism keeps us paralyzed from doing anything, while excellence says you can do that and you can do a little bit better than you did yesterday. Kind of chooses us off and says, come on, girlfriend, let's do this. She's the encouraging friend. Excellence is the encouraging friend who says, I know you've got it in you. I believe in you. I believe in your abilities. I know you can do this. Isn't that so much different? Don't you want to be encouraged to do your best? To do your best doesn't mean that you're not going to have problems along the way, that you're not going to fall and stub your toe. Doing your best doesn't mean that every single time that you go to the grocery store, you're not going to stop and get the M&Ms at the checkout counter. Oh, I get it about the M&Ms. Believe me, the M&Ms and we had a big conversation. It took me years to get over that. Peanut M&Ms sitting in the front seat of my car on the way home from the grocery store, eating them as fast as I could till I cut up the roof of my mouth. That's addiction right there. And there's a difference between a downfall and an addiction. And when you get honest with yourself about what's what, that is the needle mover. That's the honest to God integrity thing that we all need. We need to know, what is it, downfall or addiction? Sugar addiction or what? What's going on here? And when you get face to face with that and you see what's going on with it and you see how it's affected your life and your health and everything else, that's the bone honest stuff, guys. That's getting into excellence. That's getting into excellence. And we have to look at all of it. We have to. If not, being blind about it, we know where that pathway, we know what that leads to. We know the chronic health problems that are down the way with sugar addicts, right? Vanessa said I'm Hispanic, so I had a conversation with my flour tortillas. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but that just cracked me up, Vanessa. But that's it. And you know what? I'm going to call Vanessa out right now. I'm going to call Vanessa out. I'm going to call Emily out. There's a few of you out there that have watched the progress of you guys. I have watched you change and metamorphosize in front of me because I've coached you one-on-one and I've seen I've seen the shifts. I've seen the changes, not just with your weight. The weight is glorious. Yeah, we all want to lose the weight, right? But your whole entire lives, I've seen it. And it's because it's been the pursuit of excellence and it's been the dismissal of perfectionism. Write that down. I will pursue excellence. I will dismiss perfectionism. Perfectionism has never done one thing for anyone. It has held them hostage to their own lives. It has given them absolutely zero hope, and as a matter of fact, has robbed them of their integrity, has robbed them of a very vibrant life. It has robbed them of the life that they want to lead because they're paralyzed, they're stopped, and they can't go forward. Perfectionism is an ideal that we will never, ever attain. So can we just agree? Pinky, promise? Can we agree that perfectionism has not one thing to do with our lives? Because perfectionism is a robber. Perfectionism is a murderer. Perfectionism takes everything you have and leaves you with nothing. But excellence, on the other hand, gives you a glimmer of hope, shows you what's possible, gives you the encouragement, shows you that you have inside of you this incredible persona, that you have inside of you this beautiful self that longs to be expressed, that longs to be nurtured. That's right. Tay said perfectionism, oh, I just missed it. She's right though. Robs you of initiative. It does. Because perfectionism holds you hostage and keeps you paralyzed. You don't do one thing. And I've always told you this, that motivation doesn't come before anything else. Motivation happens as you do something. You got to be moving. It's about momentum. Momentum causes motivation, and they go hand in hand. It's like one domino falls and the rest of them goes. But until you press your finger on the domino, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And not only that, when it doesn't happen, when that domino doesn't go down, then those dominoes are just going to be standing around gathering dust. That's not helpful. We want momentum. It's a physics thing. One thing after the other. They connect. They connect. They connect. I love that. When we connect with momentum, then one thing after the other keeps going. We start cooking a little bit better. We start eating a little bit better. We start moving a little bit. And it's such a little thing every single day. Set up your timer, or your phone to drink just a little bit of water every single hour. If you do that, you will get it all in. And at the end of it, was it because you're perfect? No. It had nothing to do with perfection. It had to do with you doing just a little bit and going for the excellence. And when you do, at the end of the day, you'll go, wow, I did it. I did it, and I didn't know I had it in me. That's how we do it. Crystal, we all have dusty dominoes. We all do. And that's why connection is so important. That's why community is so important. That's why taking impossibly high standards of perfectionism and tossing them aside is the only way to do this. And to understand that perfectionism is your jailer. Perfectionism is the thing that is holding your life down. It's like a foot on top of you and saying you're not going anywhere. And it's saying you can't do it. It's saying you're not good enough. It's saying you're not worthy. That's what perfectionism does. And we have a different thought as we pursue excellence. I can do that. I am capable. I am able. I am worth the time. I am wonderfully made and by God himself. I am a daughter of the King. And on you go. And you keep saying those I am statements to underscore the fact that you're a woman who's just interested in pursuing excellence and doing it in the way that you can with what you have. Life unfolds. It's a journey. That's why we do Take Back Your Life and Hot Milk Club for a year, because it takes time. And when we can start having some patience with ourselves, that's when we're pursuing excellence. When we get impatient with ourselves, that's perfectionism, rearing its very ugly head and saying, no, you need to do this now. You need to get that weight off right now. You need to have this in place and that in place. And why haven't you run a marathon yet? Isn't it crazy? But that's where we are. That's what we do. And speaking of perfectionism, I forgot to tell you that our chocolate perfect paleo protein fiber mender 3.0 and unflavored is in the shop, and you can get it shipped free by putting ships free in the promo window when you check out. I forgot to tell you about that. I also forgot to tell you that we have our Full Bloom event coming up April 18th. It's on a Saturday. It is virtual now. You can get in. Go to savingdinner.com/bloom. This is about, it's this stuff. Living your life right now, today, living a life that is a legacy, not leaving behind a legacy, but living one that is a legacy. What a difference that is. Because that's what we can do from our beautiful selves. That's what we can do when we understand that we were put here on this earth by God Himself at this time in the middle of a pandemic for whatever reason, to discover what our purpose is and to live a mission-based life. And when I say mission-based, I'm not talking, any kind of religious connotations whatsoever, although we all have a spiritual side of us that needs to be nurtured. What I'm saying is that you have a purpose here. You have a purpose, and you've been called. You've been tapped on the shoulder and you've been called. How beautiful is that? And what we have to do is figure out what that is. And that's what the journey is about. You shouldn't feel bad that you don't know. I promise you it will show up. And I've seen this time and time and time and time again. I've seen it show up for so many of you. And I get to coach you and talk to you about this. And it's delightful, And not everybody has the same purpose. But everybody has the same heart and the same desire to be of service, to be purposeful, and to be mission-oriented. It's just a matter of figuring out what that little slot is for you, because we all have it. Anyway, savingdinner.com/bloom. Gosh, I'd love to see you there. And we have the technology now, so I'll be able to see all of your shining faces, and we'll be able to be together. Can you imagine? Isn't technology amazing? And think about it this way. Here's a weird thing to be thankful for. Even in this pandemic, isn't it so great that we can connect like this? Can you imagine had this been in the 80s? The only thing we'd be doing right now is watching the news on TV and freaking out. It's now, so now we can connect. We can be isolated, sure, but we can still be connected, and we can still be a community. Huge. So perfectionisms. Oh, the other thing I want to say about perfectionism is I want you to see this, okay? This is really important. Perfectionism sees mistakes as failures and writes you off, whereas excellence says, okay, that's one more way, I'm not going to do that. Or this isn't working, what do I need to do to change it? Excellence also seeks to unplug the emotion from it and doesn't take it as a personal slight that you haven't done it perfectly. Thomas Edison, how many times did he not invent the light bulb before he finally did? That's how it is. Hermine says we can select what we want to see and hear. Yes, we can. It's called the reticular activating system. We need to be looking and searching always around for those things to fall into our laps because they are out there. They're looking for that opportunity. Read the book Big Magic if you want to. Big Magic, and what's her name? Who eat, pray, love, whatever. That gal who wrote the book. Really interesting story in there. Just like blows your mind. Some of the stuff you're not going to line up with, but honestly, it will show you that when you are engaged and God has called you to do something, and if you don't do it, somebody else is going to pick up the ball and do it. And you'll see that in this book. It's just incredible. So I want you to value this thing about being in pursuit of excellence. It is about as much about the process as it is about the journey. The journey is the process, and vice versa. And you need to, we want the outcome, don't we? Don't we all? I mean, you guys have seen it. I've shown you on the back of my door, my little size 6 jeans. I want that too. But it's not just about those jeans. It's about the process of getting there, because the getting there is going to teach me, show me, and mold me into a better woman. And you too. We get to do that, you guys. We get to do that. So strive for excellence. And if you start beating yourself up because you didn't do it right or whatever, that is perfectionism, and dismiss it. We embrace excellence, we dismiss perfectionism. Because always, 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 we are in charge of what it is that we focus on, because what we focus on is what's going to expand. And if you're really interested in getting into the weeds on this deeply and really making those shifts, then you're going to want to join us for Bloom, Full Bloom. It's going to be amazing. And I cannot wait. We've got a ton of people coming. So go to savingdinner.com/bloom and sign up. You're going to get all kinds of little goodies in the emails as well. It's all 100% virtual. And I'm telling you something right now. If there's one thing that I know from my entire being, that is that when women connect and women understand and lift each other up, there is just nothing on earth like this. That is some powerful stuff right there. You know, a rising tide lifts all boats, all boats. And that is my whole heart's desire for you, is that as we all lift up together, all together, because we have our pinkies up all the time, pinkies up. You guys make my day every single day. Every single day. I love your comments. I love the way that you share this. I love the way that you care. I love the way that you are for each other. And I love what you tell me and how you are supportive of us, how you have been supporting Saving Dinner with Dinner Answers and becoming subscribers. Thank you so much. And I'm going to be calling some of you women out today on today's cooking lessons, because you just keep coming. And we are happy to support you right back. We are. $7 for a month for menus, recipes, and shopping lists every week. And you're helping Saving Dinner stay afloat too. That is a rising tide. And that is lifting our boat, and you're filling my heart as well. So I thank you so much for that. And I give you so much love and affection. And I cannot wait for the day when we all can meet in person, because I am going to hug the neck off of each one of you and tell you how much you mean to me, because you do. All right? So thanks for today. I know I went a little over. I hope to see you at 4 p.m. down in the kitchen. I have no clue what we're making. We're down to scraps here and scraps there. Mark went out. He went out, and I'm going to have to take a picture of him, because he is just so crazy. Amy, thank you for being a supporter. You are a love. You are an absolute love. Thank you. Bless you. Pinkies up, my friends. I love you all so much. And thanks to you again for sharing this. And let's bring some more people in. I'll see you on the Sprint page. Peace.